Hi, my name is Andrae Green. I'm Jamaican. I was originally living in Jamaica. Then I went to grad school in New York from Kingston, Jamaica, and I met my wife while in New York, and now we live in Massachusetts with our three kids. Well, coming from a different place and a different culture, it greatly impacts your worldview. For me, a lot of my work is starting to be about that kind of displacement, um, feeling disjointed, or, um, for lack of a better word, dissonance. Yeah, so in my work, it's affected me greatly where dissonance plays a lot in the work. The images are about not being in place in a specific place, but being in multiple places at the same time, or multiple cells in one place, or moving. So I think my background, um, being from Jamaica, coming coming to the US, and that clash of cultures has played a big role in my worldview and how I see the world and how I express that worldview through my art at the moment. Yes, my upbringing did give me a specific reference point. In my current series, Divers, that I'm slowly transitioning out of, I look back and reminisce my time living in Jamaica as a young boy, but more so what kind of galvanized that moment in my psyche is the loss of status. With the work, I'm specifically looking at the time in the 80s, when Jamaica took an economic downturn, and how my family kind of went through that, and how we were impacted by the economics of the time, and survived through it. So I think that's growing up. That's always scarred me, because when you're middle class and then you get demoted to lower middle class, there's there's a realizations that there's some things I could do and I can't do anymore. There's some things I could get and I can't get anymore. So the idea of lack, not having, all of that stuff, being able to, being have to be able to put different stuff together to make one thing. I think that plays a big part in my psyche and how I see the world. Yes, my work is informed by, you could say, themes of maybe humanism, where, for me, the human being is the apex of our civilization. And then so my work kind of privileges how we think, feel, and what we believe. I really love history, and that again is from a background, just because I grew up not having like a super classical education, so all my work and my research in my work is kind of trying to dig deep and learn about those things that I didn't know about growing up. My biggest influence when I was a kid was actually comic books, and that still plays a big part in my work. With how I draw, I think my line sense, with the figures, it's total comic based and very graphic, and then also to Renaissance painting, how people like Rubens, Rembrandt, Caravaggio, how they championed and privileged the human being, and which is like totally contrasted to modernism, where it's it's about a different theme, a different mentality, a different thing altogether. I feel, um, yeah, scratch that. And going back to biggest influences. Right now, my biggest influence is what 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 my family life is like. I have three kids, a wife, and everything that I'm doing is about and for them, in a sense, where all the work I'm making is either situational events that kind of play out themselves in painting. Um, like, for instance, the Diver series is really about the relationship of a father and a son, and a father seeing his son um, grow into manhood, and is trying to figure out how he can best help him. But then also too, the Diver series is about the relationship that I had with my dad, and those missed opportunities, and reflecting and reminiscing on lost chances, and then me looking at my relationship with my son and trying to do better. So I'm mostly influenced by life and what I read, and what I research, and yeah. So it's great narratives of the comic world, painting, art, music. I love Stanley Kubrick, um, Christopher Nolan as well. You know, um, yeah, those are my influences. I forgot to mention one of my biggest influences is other painters such as Vincent Desiderio, um, Caravaggio, Rubens. You know, the list goes on and on. Every day I add one more to the table. Right now, I am focusing on closing out the Diver series. I still have a couple paintings that I want to get done, but then also to doing research for this new body of work that I want to start. And also, I am preparing for a couple of shows at the end of the year. One at New England College in New Hampshire, and then the other in 2025 at the Boston Art Center. So I'm working on some more experimental pieces for that show. What's my biggest challenge of being an artist? My biggest challenge was believing in myself. Um, I've been drawing since I could remember. So at the age 3, I was drawing, and as I was drawing, it's something that it never stopped. And um, I did college, art college. I did my master's in art, but deep down, I never really believed that I could do it. Um, Partly because I don't think I got I don't think I got that support at home from my dad. Um, so I think I built up a lot of negativity around being an artist. I didn't have an example growing up of what an artist, of what a life as an artist could be, or what it would be like. So that influenced me a lot. Um, and getting myself out of that mindset, working myself. to a point where I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. I believe more so. I think believing is the hardest thing, um, because when nothing around you is verifying what is in your heart, it's hard to move forward. But if you can resolve within yourself to say that there is nothing else that I'd rather be doing right now, or if my life ends right now, what would I be most proud of at the end of my life? And if that is art, then I'd say you have to do it. And for me, that's what it came down to. And I got really motivated by the birth of my son. I just didn't want him to grow up seeing his dad not accomplish his dreams. you know. So that was the thing that gave me a swift kick in my butt and helped me to overcome that whole negative mindset. The advice I'd give my younger self is just keep going. Um, just keep going. I yeah, I think if I knew the way to go early on, I probably would have messed it up. So, just keep going. Your life is going to be really good. Just keep going. Have I ever tried any unconventional mediums or techniques? Yes. So the better I've been like an artist for counting undergrad and counting from high school straight to now. I've always been just like someone who draws, and then I went to college and then I learned how to paint. And then now in this part of my life, I am becoming very experimental. I'm starting to. I'm no longer. I don't think I can any longer classify myself as a traditional realist, because right now I am not only painting with oil paint and drawing with charcoal. I am painting on metal. I'm painting with cement. I'm painting with sawdust. I'm collaging things onto the canvas. So it's becoming very exciting, and the mediums are expanding. And I'm just really surprised with all the stuff that a painting on canvas can hold, and it still feel like a painting. So I'm excited. So yeah, I listen mostly to podcasts because I found like when I listen to music, it does a yo-yo with my mood. So I don't really listen to music while I paint. I listen to mostly podcasts. I think somebody talking or like a monotone rhythm of a voice is more conducive to thinking and just exploring. What's the best reaction someone has ever had with my work? Well, I didn't see this. Somebody wrote a very lovely email to me, and said that when they see my work, they cried. So I think that's the biggest compliment that anybody can get. For somebody to feel that much from something that you're putting your soul into, I think that's the biggest reward. And at the end of the day, people can buy your work and not feel that, you know. Um, but I think to be able to move somebody emotionally, I think that's what it's all about. What do I hope people will take away from my work? Well, um, I don't have anything specific. The only thing I'd like for them to do is engage it. Either they see it as a pretty picture, or they go on a journey. My work is very narrative, so there's and I try to embed multiple levels of stories in the paintings. So my hope is that they really go on a journey and feel impacted by what they see in front of them. Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. I hope what I said makes sense, and I hope at the end of the day it impacts one of your viewers. And also, upcoming shows 2025, the Boston Arts Center, um, in October this year, 2024, New England College, um, and my work can be found at William Bassett's Gallery, Northampton, Massachusetts. My Instagram is Andrae Green Studios, and my website is andregreen.com. Thank you.